Good morning, parents. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are so excited to present Mrs. Urkevic's third grade class. They've been working really hard using the laptops in their classrooms with the help of Mrs. Urkevic and Mr. Stemple, and they've been learning PowerPoint, and they've put together amazing PowerPoint presentations for you guys on the food chain. So I'll introduce Mrs. Urkevic so she can let her class get started.
Boys and girls, my fourth graders, you remember doing the PowerPoint from last year? Well, we have, our little laptops that we have now? We were able to do the whole thing in the classroom. So we were very excited. We had not as much time because of the snowstorm. We had 2 periods that we missed, and then we've had quite a few illnesses, so we've had students in and out all for the past couple of weeks. This is what they were able to do in the little time and the amount of time that, well, not little time, but the amount of time that we were given to get this done. So, fourth graders, hopefully you'll remember the food chain, and hopefully you remember animal classification and our habitats from planet Earth. So, with no further ado, here's my third grade class.
Producer by Andrew Jolie and Gavin Wallace. Grass as producer. Grass is the first step on the food chain that we studied. It is the first step because it produces its own food and energy.
Our experiment. We experimented on growing grass in soil, sand, and mixture of sand and soil. We did this experiment because we wanted to see which soil grew the fastest, sand, soil, and mixture. Grass grew the fastest in sand, soil grew the second fastest, and mixture grew the least.
How grass grows. Grass grows from water, sun, and nutrients in the dirt. In 16 days, the grass can grow up to 20 centimeters in the soil. In 16 days, grass can grow up to 24 centimeters in sand. Grass dies as fast as sand because sand can't hold as much water and nutrients.
Water cycle producer. Another type of life cycle is found in the water. Little creatures like plankton are at the bottom of the food chain. The plant at the bottom of the food chain is seaweed. Plankton and seaweed are 2 water producers. Diatoms are also at the bottom of the food chain. They make their own food from sunlight. What did the seaweed say to the shark? You look sharp today. Primary Consumer, Song of the Cricket, by Paige DiMarino and Abby Shauna. Chirping. Crickets are known for their chirping. Male crickets chirp to each other. Female crickets reach to other crickets. They are there and are willing to fight for their property. Crickets chirp by rubbing their back legs together. Parts. Crickets are insects. They have 3 body parts. The 3 body parts are the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. Crickets need all their body parts to survive. Food chain. Grass the producer. It provides food for the crickets. The food chain is important. The cricket is the primary consumer. It is in the second stage of the food chain. Helping hand. The crickets help us in many ways. Crickets spread seeds around in the soil and the plants grow. In Asia, people keep crickets as pets and think they bring good luck. What's an insect's favorite game? Cricket. Secondary consumer. Anoles, by Delaney Zonowski and Mia Magliari, who's missing in action. Food chain. The animal we are writing about is anoles. The anoles are secondary consumer. Here are some key words: secondary consumers, predators, food chain, carnivore crickets, and primary consumer. The reason they are key words is because they talk about what the anole eats and where they are in the food chain. Food. Anoles eat crickets and small insects. They always eat the head first. They do this because they want to make sure the prey is dead. Anoles have to fight for their food in the wild. That is how and what they eat. Habitats. Anoles live in warm climates like other reptiles too. They are mostly found in areas where there are rocks, trees, and sunny spots. They live in places that have good hiding spots to hide from predators. And always live in terrariums too. And always have interesting habitats. Behavior. And always have interesting behavior because they are reptiles. We have anoles in our classroom. Once, Mrs. Urkevic told us that we had to study their behavior. We learned that they are sometimes very skittish. During the night, anoles have to hide from predators. They blend in easily with their skin. And what is the anole's least favorite food? Cannolis.
Owls by Rutherford Puig and T.K. Cruz. Why we are doing owls? We are doing owls because the owl is the third part of the food chain, also known as the tertiary consumer, and we are studying the food chain.
Fast facts. The owl is warm-blooded. It is a bird of prey. The owl is nocturnal. The length of the owl is from 5 to 28 inches. All owls do not look the same. Owls make a variety of sounds, and most owls have a short tail. All owls have flat faces, hooked beaks, and large eyes.
The habitat. The owl is all around the United States and some parts of Canada as well. They live in grasslands, deserts, marshes, agricultural fields, strips of forest, woodlots, rainstorms, bushlands, and feathers.
The prey. The owl eats small mammals. They eat rats, mice, voles, and lemmings. They also eat small birds. They eat most of the prey they eat is active at night because they are nocturnal.
Owl pellets. Owl pellets are little, but they are fun to see. Owl pellets are formed by owls eating something and then spitting it out. We saw owl pellets in class. There were bones in them.
Decomposers and earthworms by Ali Remillard and Danica Pichel. How earthworms feel. Earthworms feel squishy and soft, and the casting feels squishy and wet. The soil is created from the casting. Observing earthworms. Earthworms are 7 inches or longer, and they like to poke holes in the dirt. They prefer dark, not light, and they like water. The earthworms feel soft, and they feel like they are cold. What earthworms eat and how they respond to soil. They eat dead leaves. Earthworms drag leaves into the ground, decompose leaves and food into soil. Earthworms eat what people throw away. Decomposing. The third grade is managing the compost pile outside, and we are watching the earthworms decomposing the garbage from our lunches. What can be composted? Orange peels, banana peels, apple peels, and paper. What can't be composted? Cans and glass, bones, metal, plastic, rubber, and meat.
Coral Reefs and Forests by Julia White and Vita Millennium. How are coral reefs made? Coral reefs are made from tiny animals called polyps. Polyps use chemicals from the sea to build a hard skeleton around their soft bodies. When polyps die, layers of hard coral are left. Coral reefs are home to many animals. The giant plant is the largest animal in the coral reef. Coral reefs are also made of smaller coral that are living organisms. The largest coral reef is in Australia, called the Great Barrier Reef. It's 1,260 miles long, and you can see it from outer space.
Amazing facts about coral reefs. About 1,000 fish live in a coral reef. Have you seen the movie Nemo? The movie Finding Nemo takes place in a coral reef. Coral reefs are found in warm water only. Coral reefs are almost like a city that never sleeps. Did you know that small cleaner fish called wrasse run beauty parlors in coral reefs?
Forest. Forest grows in almost every part of the world.
In the forest is home to many animals. Did you know that some people live in forests too? Every year there are forest fires which burn the trees in the area. Paper are trees. We need trees, so that is why we recycle.
Many different types of forests. There are 2 different types of forests, hardwood and softwood. The hardwood trees are trees that grow leaves and fruits. They're also deciduous, which means their leaves drop during fall. Deciduous forests are found in parts of North America.
Coniferous forest is a softwood forest. Softwood trees are trees that don't have needles. Softwood forests are also known as evergreen because they don't lose their needles each year. Softwood forests are often found near mountains. Coniferous forests are located in Asia, Europe, Canada, and the USA.
We need forests. Forests help a lot of animals and people. For example, we need firewood to keep warm, natural fiber for health, even wood for furniture. The tree leaves provide oxygen. If we didn't have trees, we would have a hard time breathing.
Mountains and Grass by Ethan Bowman and James Schaefer. Grasslands. Grass covers 1/4 of the world. There are 3 types of grasslands. They are steppes, prairies, and savannas. Occasional dry spells and severe droughts cause fierce fires that help maintain the grasslands. Tropical grassland grow close to the equator. Temperate grassland grow farther from the equator. Mountains. Rain and ice carve canyons in the mountains. From space you can see the Himalayas. The biggest mountain is Mount Everest because it is 29,000 feet or 8,840 meters. Birds have to go around Mount Everest because they cannot go over it. The Virginia Mountains are a mountain range in the East Central. The Lawrence Mountains are some of the oldest mountains in the world. Rock that melted deep within Earth. The rock grows through Earth's surface shore crust. Mountains were also formed by 2 plates crashing into each other and pushing land up. Deserts. Cold deserts receive their precipitation as snow. The Gobi Desert is situated on high windy plains. It is the coldest desert in the world. Oceans. About 71% of the world is covered with water. Water goes in a pattern all around the world. The North Atlantic drift is powerful, warm, and swift. Ocean facts. All oceans are salt water. Deep oceans have no light at the bottom. The saltiness comes from a chemical substance called sodium.
Wetlands and Rainforests by Thomas Broyles and Ditya Bisbal. Facts about system is a place where every animal and plant works together. Wetlands ecosystems are a great example of animals and plants working together. Marshes, swamps, and bogs. Swamps grow many trees and leafy plants on the ground. Swamps have very dirty water that sometimes grows grass and shrubs in it. Bogs have lots of peat and moss that grows plants, natural resources adapt to changes in the weather. Marshes grow a lot of wet grass and are mostly found in cold places. Marshes have grass in its water. Reeds are found mostly in a marsh. Rainforest is home to some very important animals such as mammals, reptiles, amphibians, and birds. The Amazon River runs through the Amazon Basin rainforest. The rainforest is home to lots of deadly fish, for example, the piranha. Connections between rainforests and jungles. Jungles are a form of rainforest. Another type of rainforest, rainforests and jungles get a lot of wet weather like rain. Another type of rainforest is the tropical rainforest. Rainforests and jungles are both found in Bolivia and parts of Southeast Asia. The Amazon rainforest has thousands of species of insects and Mr. Fab, which is the animal classification of mammals, reptiles, fish, amphibians, and birds.
Tundras and Poles by Kelly Musa and Laker. The terrific tundra. The tundra is the place with lots of open space. The tundra is the Russian word for treeless plains. The tundra biome is one of the coldest biomes in the world. It turns into a large barren regions with no trees.
Arctic tundra receives less than 2 feet of annual precipitation. Poles. The Arctic tundra is mostly located in the northern hemisphere. The North Pole is located in the Arctic Ocean. The axis is an imaginary line through the center of the Earth, which the planet rotates. There is no land in the North Pole. The South Pole is located in Antarctica. The poles are usually covered in snow. Location. The tundra is located in northern Europe, Russia, Alaska, Canada, and Greenland. The Alpine Tundra is frozen soil. Some reach as deep as 1,500 feet or 456 meters. The Alpine Tundra occurs on high mountainsides from the Arctic to Central America. Animals from the poles. There are many animals in the poles. For example, narwhals, polar bears, seals, penguins, beluga whales, and the Arctic gray wolves. Narwhal males are distinguished by a long, straight helical tusk, actually an elongated upper left canine.
Mammals milk from their furry body. Mammals also have lungs and breathe air. The largest mammal is the blue whale. One of the smallest mammals is the kitty's hog-nosed bat.
Characteristics.
A female platypus lays a bunch of eggs at one time. A platypus looks like a reptile, but it is a mammal.
Reptiles. Reptiles are cold-blooded and have very scaly skin. Reptiles have backbones and hatch from eggs. Reptiles have lungs and breathe air.
Years by. A desert tortoise always walks on land and sea turtles always swim.
Amphibians and fish. Sea, lakes, ponds, river, and stream. The following is a list of fish in the shallow seas. Yellow perch, sunfish, trout, rock bass, and piperfish. Features of an amphibian. Amphibians have a backbone. They are cold-blooded. Most of their skin has no scales. Adult amphibians also absorb air through their skin. Defenses of an amphibian. There are many defenses for an amphibian. For an example, poison is a defense. Amphibians can run very fast so other animals can't catch them. Some amphibians are so big other predators can't eat them, and some amphibians are so small other predators can't see them. Different kinds of amphibians. There are different kinds of amphibians all over the world. Some of them are salamanders, toads, poison dart frog, rubber caecilian, greater siren, and the last red-spotted moon. Facts and joke. True or false? Do golden butterfly fish live in coral reefs? True, they do. What is a fish but not a fish?
A starfish.
A starfish. True or false? Do rubber caecilians have eyes that you can barely see? True, they do. Birds and insects.
By Cyrus Collins and John Myers.
Insects usually have 4 to 6 legs. They also have a pair of antennas and sometimes 2 wings. Insects have an external skeleton. Insect predators. Insect predators include birds, frogs, and lizards. The insects sometimes have defense mechanisms against their predators. For example, the bombardier beetle can spray a gas that can bind its enemies. Insect habitats. Insect habitats need to be warm and there needs to be enough food and water. There also needs to be trees, bushes, and sunlight. They need the trees and bushes to make homes, and the sunlight helps keep the insects warm. Birds' body parts. Birds have feathers and backbones. Birds breathe from lungs and do not breathe from lungs and do
and they do not need the sun because they are warm-blooded. This means that their body temperature is constant and not controlled by the sun. Birds habitats sometimes need rocks, sand, and shade. They also need trees, water, and enough food to survive. They need to have enough twigs and sticks to build nests to live in. Fast facts about birds. Birds migrate south during the winter to find a more comfortable climate. The Arctic tern has the biggest migration from the Arctic to the Antarctic to back. Each year, the region falcon is the fastest bird. An owl can turn its head 270 degrees. Inspiration from our soul.
Originally had 120 slides, so we knew that wasn't going to fly. So these students who had written all this work had to then pare down their writing so that they each had 2 slides, and we got it down to 78 slides. So I think they did a really good job, especially if you notice my little friend came back to school just today. So he's just been here. This is his second grade year, right? So we want to give him a big hand.
Congratulate Mrs. Urkevic's class. That was a very well done presentation. I actually learned a lot from you. Thank you for teaching me so much. And now we will begin our leaf presentation, starting with 6 children from my class. If I call your name, could you please line up right over here? Alex, Tammy, Peter, Vedika, Colin, and Raj. Congratulations to all of you. My first leaf this morning goes to Mr. Alex Lamberto. Alex is receiving this leaf in the Forest of Virtue for demonstrating justice. More specifically, making the effort it takes to play fair and be a good friend. Alex is very well liked and often sought out to be a partner in peer activities during class or part of a group game during recess. This is because Alex has a good attitude and considers the well-being of others, not just himself. If a conflict does arise, Alex tries his best to come up with a positive solution. If the problem persists, he knows when it is appropriate to get the help of an adult to assist, before things get out of control. Alex demonstrates kindness and respect to both his peers and his teacher. Children are very lucky to have Alex as a friend, and as a teacher, I feel very lucky to have Alex in class. My second leaf this morning goes to Miss Tammy Jacques. Tammy is receiving this leaf in the Forest of Virtue for demonstrating fortitude. More specifically, for demonstrating perseverance when things get tough. I am so proud of how Tammy has been working in 3rd grade. She comes into the classroom each day and immediately settles into her morning routine. She now understands what is expected of her and follows through with her responsibilities. As a 3rd grader, Tammy has faced many new challenges, such as longer reading and writing assignments, trying to master math facts, and learning to write in cursive. She is persevering through these challenges and is making tremendous progress. It is because of this effort and hard work she receives this Leaf in the Forest of Virtue today. Congratulations, Tammy. My next leaf goes to Peter Nicholson. Peter is receiving this Leaf in the Forest of Virtue for demonstrating temperance, more specifically for applying increased effort into mastering his impulses and showing a marked improvement in self-control. Peter has been working very hard to become a better listener during class lessons and has also become more involved in class discussions. I am happy to see how this applied focus and attention is allowing him to be more successful in school. I truly appreciate the efforts you have made in class, Peter, and want to recognize you for it today. Keep trying your best, and great things will happen. My next leaf goes to Vedika Vinyak. Vedika is receiving this Leaf in the Forest of Virtue for demonstrating temperance, more specifically because of the responsible work ethic and organizational skills she exhibits in the classroom. Vedika's work is always complete and completed very well. She takes pride in her work and it shows, as it is almost always presented with beautiful cursive handwriting and is very neatly done. She will often go that extra step beyond what is required to show extra effort and attention to detail. This is evident in her nightly homework assignments and completion of optional math extension activities. It is wonderful to have Vedika as a new member of the BFCCPS community this year. My next leaf goes to Mr. Colin Model. Colin is receiving this Leaf in the Forest of Virtue for demonstrating justice, more specifically for the respect he shows towards adults and the qualities of good friendship he portrays to his peers. Whether working or playing with fellow classmates, he listens to others' ideas and shows respect for their opinion. This makes him a great partner and a wonderful friend. I have never heard Colin raise his voice or lose self-control. The ability Colin has to just sit back and go with the flow is admirable. I also very much appreciate the respect Colin has shown towards me. It is such a pleasure to see Colin walk in as one of the earliest arrivals every morning. It is a wonderful way to start my day. My last leaf today goes to Mr. Raj Khetri. Raj is receiving this Leaf in the Forest of Virtue for demonstrating temperance, more specifically for demonstrating patience, obedience, and good manners. Raj is an excellent role model in our class, as he is always one to work quietly, raise his hand when he has something to share, and wait patiently for his turn to speak. He is mindful not to interrupt while I am teaching a lesson or working with another student. His good example is one we should all try to follow. Raj, your efforts to be a conscientious student do not go unnoticed. I appreciate your patience, courtesy, and hard work in the classroom. This recognition is well deserved.
Okay, it's my class's turn. Problem arises. She doesn't get upset, but will wait patiently and then respond so that everyone will hear her suggestions. Corinne is also very kind-hearted and helpful. She is always the first student to offer to help with anything from unpacking a student's work to passionate soul. It is my pleasure to have Corinne in class this year. Liam. Can we even see Allie back here? Allie is receiving this Leaf in the Forest of Virtue for justice. Allie is an excellent friend, and most importantly to her BFF, Kate. But all of the students, and is usually the first student to transition to the next subject. I especially feel very respected by Allie in that she is always paying attention in class
and is engaged in our class discussion. To be successful at learning to organize and to have good time management skills. He never gives up, and I am so impressed with the work that he has been doing in Daily 5 and literature circles to be prepared each week. Thomas is a joy to have in class, and his passion for science is contagious. It's very hard to complete her work. Kate challenges herself and gets all her work done, no matter the obstacle. She works hard at setting goals for herself and has been very successful at achieving them. She comes in. While Andrew is getting this leave for justice, he could easily be receiving this leave for any of the 3 other virtues. Andrew is being recognized for justice because he practices respect, friendship, kindness, and generosity daily. I am in awe of Andrew's maturity and respect he shows his peers and adults alike. I can always count in class. I love that their friendship is fluid and they are inclusive, not exclusive with others. Also, recently showed perseverance in completing all her work she missed when she was sick. After being sick in and out for a couple of weeks, she came back to school and completed all her work without any complaint or any hesitation. I am just very proud of her.
Good morning. My charts, you'll be getting certificates that have the right colors. Okay, they're just not ready yet, but you have a certificate. Ms. Abby, you're getting a leaf in the Forest of Virtue for perseverance. Right now in our classroom, we are preparing ourselves to battle the 4th grade English Language Arts MCAS. Part of the test will consist of reading selections and accompanying multiple choice and write complete, detailed, excellent open responses that I hope all of my students will make. Abby, blessedly and much to her credit, follows instructions and she follows them impeccably. The writing she's doing Lindsay, you're getting a leaf in the Forest of Virtue for prudence. We have our jobs in our class, and Lindsay's is totally tuned-in student. It is her job to immediately raise her hand when she hears my chimes or sees me raise my hand to get others on board. Whereas most students ask for a specific job, I asked Lindsay if she would do this job because she's so tuned in to my teacher wavelength. Lindsay makes so many good decisions about the proper thing to be doing at any given time. She works wherever the work can get done. It might be with a partner, it might be in the hall, but most often it's at her desk. She enjoys being up front with other like-minded students because she's very concerned about being distracted from what she knows she is here at school for. I appreciate Lindsay's maturity, and what's really nice, her grades are great. Viva and I lock eyes over her beautifully cursive paper that she has labored over. I want her to clarify a few things, but she thinks her paper is great the way it is. I pull rank on her, a privilege of teaching, and off she goes to make the changes, still a bit skeptical. I know she would rather be reading her beloved books. However, she perseveres, and with that strength that she has, she soon comes back to see me. Is that better, she asks? What do you think, I ask her. She smiles and admits, yes, it's better, because she knows teachers are here to help and not to make your life difficult. Viva, I see you work so hard every day to produce work that meets your own very high standards. And now I see you persevering through the harder work of taking a good work and making it even better. You're doing a beautiful job. And I also want to say, we write compliments in our class at Valentine's Day about each other. And this child wrote the most beautiful compliments about her classmates, which showed a real generosity of spirit. And it took a lot of time, so I really want to say thank you for that. This is Faraz Iqbal. I was very anxious at the beginning of the school year when I knew I had a student named Faraz, but due to family circumstances, he wasn't going to be in attendance for a week and a half. He was missing those first critical days. How did he adjust? Little did I know I was about to meet one of the most diligent and adaptable students I have ever come across. From the first moment I met him, I knew that Faraz was a committed, serious, and conscientious student, and sure enough, he was caught up in 2 days. Faraz sets such high standards for himself, and he does everything one could expect any fourth grader to do to meet those standards. He's politely proactive. He writes and rewrites. He studies his math facts, even though he's also already super fast. And he's a really, really nice boy. Jack is very popular in our class for his athleticism, humor, and humility, and most certainly for his sense of justice. Jack cares about the welfare of his fellow students. When I've watched him play 8 Square at recess, which is an intense and competitive game, with emotions running high, I've seen Jack stop playing immediately when it appears that someone has been hurt, and he rushes to their side to make sure they're okay. He does this without concern as to whether he might then be out under the rules of the game. It's just an automatic impulse that comes from the heart. When I got hurt feelings one day over something that had happened, Jack quickly made amends in his own way, and he has shown me every day since that he respects me, our classroom, and our school. This is Adriana. She's getting a leaf from the Forest of Virtue for proof. Smart, mature, conscientious, wise for her years. Those are words and phrases that come to mind when I think of Adriana. If there's anyone whose eyes are on me when I'm doing direct instruction at the whiteboard, it's Adriana. She's so cute because sometimes she even nods, seeming to tell me that I've made something clear, which I really appreciate. I know it's hard not to be distracted by good friends and funny jokes. We have sweet and funny kids here at BFCCPS. But Adriana chooses her social times wisely. When she does socialize, she's got plenty of friends eager to spend time with her. But she has the wisdom to know that she does not lose, but actually wins by getting the most she can out of lessons, which will get her ready for whatever in life she wants to do.
I am thrilled to call up 6 members of Team 4S, Dylan Kirchthorn, Cameron King, Camille Hart, Daniel Curtis, Nitya Avaduta, Josh Rocha. Dale, you know what, guys? I'm going to come on this side so your parents can see you and everyone else. Right here, go. You're right behind the pole, Miss Mom. Nice smile right there. Okay. The virtue that Dylan is being nominated for on the Forest of Virtue is fortitude. Dylan is being recognized for fortitude because of his tremendous perseverance, his stick-to-itiveness. That's a word. Might be on the spelling bee, Ashvika. Dylan may not have been the most organized student during the first months of school, and we all know how a lack of organization can be detrimental to one's studies. But Dylan has shown an increased focus and an understanding of his responsibilities. The result has been outstanding. His homework is routinely completed, he has higher test scores, and a more positive demeanor in the classroom. Dylan, your good feelings and improved attitude have been contagious. Your classmates thoroughly enjoy your presence in class and the many humorous stories and cartoons you share with us. Congratulations, Dylan. Cameron is being nominated for the Leaf in the Forest of Virtue for temperance and fortitude. Cam is one of the hardest working individuals I have ever known, and his work ethic is now second nature for him. He has matured greatly in a very short amount of time. This maturity has helped him to understand the effort that's required for success, and success he has achieved. He sets high expectations and strives to meet those. Cameron is always ready to participate in class activities. One of the many things I admire about Cameron is that even if he is not sure of an answer, he is not afraid to take a chance and tackle the problem, much like he does on the football field or hockey rink. Cam, I am very proud of the student you have become and have great admiration for the person you are. Congratulations. Camille Hart is nominated for a Leaf in the Forest of Virtue for fortitude. The BFCCPS definition of fortitude means having the courage to face challenges and obstacles, persevering when things get tough. If you look that up in the dictionary, you would see a picture of Camille Hart. Camille is the Duracell bunny of Team 4S. She keeps on going no matter the challenge, whether it's comparing fractions, writing answers to open response questions, or dealing with extracurricular activities. Camille is a proud and steadfast individual who keeps her head high and her smile bright. She is always willing to help out her classmates and her teacher. Thank you, Camille, for all you do. You're right, Daniel. That's okay. Yeah, Daniel. Just going to mix up the girls and the boys. Daniel was nominated for a Leaf in the Forest of Virtue for justice, temperance, and fortitude. Daniel has been an exemplary member of Team 4S. He possesses a fantastic sense of humor, and you know there's always something humorous bubbling up from behind those impish eyes and that Cheshire cat smile. Daniel's love of reading is unsurpassed. If I need Daniel, I can usually find him nestled within the pages of an interesting book. Daniel has been working tirelessly at his academics as well as other school activities. His quiet demeanor disguises all that he offers to his classmates. He is always ready with an answer to a problem. He is a much sought after partner for group collaboration and is a loyal and trustworthy friend whose only objective is simply to do the right thing, even when no one is looking. Keep up the wonderful work, Daniel. Nithya Alvaduta is nominated for a Leaf in the Forest of Virtue for prudence, fortitude, and justice. Nithya, what can I say about Nithya? I suppose I could say the obvious. She is a fantastic student who treats everyone with respect, acts the right way at the right time, makes wise choices, and behaves in a manner that would make any member of the BFCCPS community proud. Nithya is an eager student who wishes to please her teachers, her fellow classmates, and herself. She is never hesitant to read aloud or answer questions in class, and humbly accepts any accolade in 4S's highest achievers. He does not accomplish this by simply showing up in the classroom. No, he works very hard and understands the quality of work expected from fourth graders. And then he surpasses those expectations.
Thank you, third and fourth grade. You guys have been an incredible audience for Mrs. Urkevic, students who presented to us, and for all of our friends who received their leaves in the Forest of Virtue. I want to thank all the parents today for coming out. It really means a lot to us to see you guys here, and we love the fact that you get to participate in all the great things we get to do in the classroom. It amazes me that 25 third graders are able to get up in front of 100+ people and present material that they've learned in their class. It is unbelievable to me. And I hope that you guys know how hard that is and what a great job you guys did in doing that. Mrs. Urkevic, your class did an amazing job presenting. Their PowerPoints were beautiful. So thank you guys very much. Before we go, I just want to recognize we had a bunch of fourth graders yesterday that for the first time participated in the spelling bee. And it's a very difficult thing to do. And they got up there and they worked really, really hard. So I just wanted to recognize Jack Vasili, Faraz, Arrow, Viva, Benjamin Mocha, Lauren, Adriana Newman, Akash, Nikia, Lightly, Sahil, Ashvika, Anish, Izam, Isabel Pizzo, Joshua, Connor, and Ramya for all of your hard work yesterday. And as Mrs. Schaefer mentioned, we did have one fourth grader make it into the finals today, and that's Ashvika Bhupathi. We will be participating in the final spelling bee this afternoon, where 14 finalists will participate, and we'll get that down to one finalist that will go on to the regional spelling bee in a couple of weeks. So anybody who would like to join us, it's open for anybody to attend. It will be 12:30 down here in the auditorium. Thank you guys for being a fantastic audience, and I hope I see you later at the spelling bee.